Well guys, there's a couple of stories I want to talk about today, so I'll throw them all into one video, briefly talking about them as I go. First up, we got the latest reports from Ukraine, or should we say our government apparently sending them military equipment. Of course, I shouldn't need to tell you lot how much of a piss take this is, since we are currently upping taxes and national insurance to pay for the NHS, while millions of pounds is being sent to Ukraine on literally a daily basis, it would seem. Our own military is often on the balls of its arse with gear, yet we can afford to send multi-million pound missile systems and armoured trucks over there, which now totals £100 million or more by next week, the Daily Mail is apparently saying now. In fact, I would really love to know how much money has been sent to Ukraine when people here are literally piss poor with everything going up in price alongside taxes. Obviously though, the media and political tosspots love all this taxpayer money being siphoned off, as the next story I want to talk about shows ya. Now, it obviously goes without saying that I'm no fan of the EU. In fact, this channel is about as anti-EU as it gets, and literally always will be, so I do find this hilarious but also scummy. Here we have people within the EU moaning that the EU spends more on Russian gas than it does on weapons and aid for Ukraine, like it has some obligation to put Ukraine first or some shit. In fact, it's actually pure cult-like insanity if you ask me, but that seems about par for the course these days. I mean, can anyone explain to me which is more important, buying gas to keep the lights on in EU member states or sending money and weapons to Ukraine, because these idiots seem to think it should be the latter. Now, I'm not sure what mental derangement is required to think that the EU should spend more on arming the non-EU country than it does is keeping the lights on in Europe, but it seems this is where we are with this bullshit at the moment. Thank fuck we're out of that cesspit is all I will say to that one there. Up next, I think we should really roast Spain for flip-flopping back to its medical apartheid policies requiring medical treatments to enter the country for a holiday. Yes, despite dropping this a while back, the Spanish wangstains have now decided to bring it back in, which I hope ends up shitting all over their tourism industry. I mean, had I been planning to go there, that would have quickly changed following all of this, as I think any shithole implementing this discriminatory bullshit should be boycotted by literally everyone. It is the only way they will learn after all. Now, following on from that story, we should really talk about Boris Johnson saying lockdowns are not out of the question in future, which to me sounds like softening up the sheeple for when they want to bring them back in. Of course, it spits in the face of his claim that reopening was irreversible and all of that, but we knew this was bollocks from day one anyway. Of course, it should be noted him saying they are on the table means he's now 100% okay with publicly stating that he will cause the deaths of many people through lockdown despite evidence of the damage done by this deranged lunacy. Deaths during lockdowns, deaths in care homes and the ticking time bomb that is delayed cancer treatment are what he means when he says that they could come back, so I guess it's nice to know he admits to his willingness to do it. This time he can't use the bullshit excuse that they didn't know the effects of lockdown or any of that, because we do know and the media have been admitting it for a few months now. But I will obviously tell you right now, I will not listen to any of the government's bullshit, lockdown laws, masks or anything like that, much like I didn't the first time. They literally have no right to do it and actually lack the authority to do it also. The only reason they got away with it is because businesses refused to stand up in numbers and just say no. If they stood up and said, we ain't letting you send us into the shitter while large corporations make bumper profits, then lockdowns don't happen. The same is actually true for the sheeple who hid at home while Boris Johnson partied because the media told them to. It's funny how they happily sat there taking the furlough money for all that time, but now complain tax hikes and price rises are biting them in the arsehole. I guess they didn't know you reap what you sow, or in this case, what you let other people sow. And to finish off this video here, we've got the SNP under Health Secretary Hamza Useless deciding the best way to save the planet is to phase out asthma pumps. Yes, while countries make up 30% of the emissions and all of that and are doing nothing, this is what's really going to save the planet. One thing it shows though is that the SNP is always there to one-up every other lunatic when it comes to this sort of shit. We truly live in a clown world now if you didn't know it before. But guys, I'm gonna end the video there, so let me know what you all think down in the comments section about the nonsense that I've gone through here, and thanks for watching as always.